The eyes of fear, once you put bigger locks on your door, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love, instead, see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now to a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which it would many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever.
Yeah, we're just doing a hangout. No, it wasn't planned. No, I don't have like a super crazy agenda or anything like that. I just wanted to make absolutely sure that, sometimes when you come off of a stream from somewhere else, you're like, I don't want to stop hanging out with everybody. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna hang out for a bit. That's it. That's it. I got a couple toys to show off. They're not gigantic gifts or anything. But I just want to hang out with some people. Because I didn't have anything scheduled for the weekend. I'm still not sure what I'm doing Monday for the stream, to be honest. So I'm going to totally do my best to, honestly talk to you guys about maybe what we could do because I had a few ideas, but I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go. And I love Ted Mills. He's like, I fucking knew it. He's like, oh yeah, of course. Jim's gonna have an after party. Like, I mean, that's my thing. That's my thing. I do that. I do the thing. Oh yeah, snap into a live stream. Absolutely, Will. Absolutely. Of course you're here, Bjorn. You're my constant. I appreciate you, bro. Ted Mullet says, I opened my first two G.I. Joe classifieds ever. The Cobra Trooper was solid, but Breaker was very loosey-goosey and all joints. Ugh. My first ever was on stream a bit ago. It was the Baroness, and she was fine. She was fine. She was fine. Good evening, chaps. No, good evening to you as well. Caps lock or no? It's fine. What's up, Keith Knight? What's up, mate? We're still supposed to hang out. Matter of fact, message me on the thing. You should just hop in. We'll just do our hangout here if you're fine with it. Just hop in. If it's not, well, it's probably crazy late there. But if you're into it, it could be a Keith Knight impromptu hang. I'm drinking beer. I don't know what you are. Of course, for you, it's probably 3 a.m. But I'm just saying, if Keith wants it, Keith gets it. Rather be tight and loosen up than loose. That applies to many things in life, Will. I'm not going to go any further than that. Better Ray Bob, welcome. Love the Dancing Godzilla and the Grind Hicks sound. The Bill Hicks sound bit. Yeah, thank you very much for recognizing the Bill Hicks part. Yeah, Grindzilla is just he's kind of a placeholder right now. I keep saying this, but we're trying to get him redesigned to be more punk, more grindcore, and make him something that's unique to us without being derivative. And eventually, it'll be pretty cool. Eventually. I'm glad you enjoy it. Glad you enjoy it. Carl. Guys, oh my G-Zilla, okay? If you don't watch his content, you're wrong. Gojatron has a YouTube channel now, and he's doing his thing. And it's great. He just did an overview of the Series 2A of Final Faction, which is great. Everything he's done is good, right? He's done like 2-3 videos at this point, I think, before. Boy, you need to be on that channel because this is a guy who he's forgotten more about toys than most people will ever know. Like he's that tier of knowledge. And now he's putting out videos. On top of that, he's got that perfect accent. He's really mild-mannered in a good way. I'm so fucking happy that he's doing videos, and I love everything he's done. He can only get better, and he's probably within 6 months he's probably going to bury this channel. I guarantee you. I guarantee it because he is really, really, really good. It's really good. And I would be happy to be buried by a Gojatron. So, yes, plans are often overrated, Better Ray Bob. Thank you. Ted, I love you too, brother. Really and truly. All of you. For sure. Having Badger coming in. You know what word does not rhyme with hangout? Like button. That's 2 words. But you're right. Doesn't rhyme. Doesn't rhyme. I appreciate y'all. Gerard says, crazy late here. Everyone, what's up? Have to catch replay. No worries. Get some rest, sir. It's not going to be anything crazy. Ain't crazy. Jim motherfucking Largo. Sup? By the way, let me know how this mic sounds because I don't have the thing on. I'm using a cheapy shotgun mic. I took a chance on. I'll tell you the story about it later after a few more beers. Because when I tell you the story, you're gonna be like, "Oh, that motherfucker." You might. Watching Goji right after this. Smart play. See, 100% agree. 100% agree. Don't tell people you've forgotten stuff, Carl. Don't tell them that. Just keep that under. You gotta sweep it under the rug. See, you gotta do that. Yeah, Ted nails it on the head. That New York, I don't really give a crap attitude. Exactly. Better Ray says, following Gojo on Instagram for a while. Glad to find his YouTube channel. Subscribe to perfect. Shaft. No, I'm not really, but Gojatron's pretty cool too. Thank you. Glad to hear it. And it's funny, like the one thing that this mic kind of lacks for me is like it does pick up the reverb a bit more, and it's something where the exact same stuff we were talking about on a certain stream earlier. I don't want to publicly be like, oh, by the way, there's this thing you missed. Um, well, I guess I could say it because it should. If you're not a patron of Analog Toys, you should be. And there was a patron exclusive live stream we just all came from, and we were talking about these sound dampening panels you can make with towels and wood of all things that cost about $5 to $7. $5, maybe £3 a piece, depending upon where you're at in the world to make, and they're really good. Where I'm at, I don't have a lot of play here because I've got my voice hits the monitors and then it hits the screen and goes back, so I'm okay there for the most part. But if I don't have the screen up, it's really bad. So when we get into the bigger place, it's going to be something where I need to make sure that I have some of these things up, and there's some cool stuff out there. So I got like, these aren't the only things that have arrived recently. Okay. There's one thing I'm kind of keeping hidden. It's not like a gigantic, huge, crazy thing, but it's kind of cool. I'm not showing that. Sorry. But I have 3 other toys that I'm going to show you. They're not out of the box yet. I'm not going to unbox them here and that cat. But I just want to show you where my head's been at lately. Okay? So the first, least surprising, is the Hasbro Pulse exclusive invisible variant of Invisible Woman. I know there are people in chat that are going to say she's got a butterface. I'm like, you're not wrong. But it's just cool to have an invisible woman. It is what it is. It's a cool variant. I like it. But I'm also pretty forgiving of toys. I don't get too bent out of shape most of the time. Unless it's like, Mysteries of Grayskull, and then of course everyone you can't see her. No, that's good actually. I was gonna show a picture of an empty shelf or like my table and be like, here's my collection of Invisible Woman, invisible variants. I didn't do that because I'm weak. I'm weak. The whole thing. Jim says, Chinese food just arrived. Just up and say howdy. No, it's nice to see you, brother. Enjoy your Chinese food, sir. Enjoy your Chinese food. A weather dominator. Okay. My movements are so slow. You couldn't even see me. They're imperceptible. Damn it. There you go. Something else which shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody if you've been paying attention to some off-color comments I've made a few times. But I've committed. I have committed. And here's my proof. This is a vintage collection Darth Vader, specifically, technically from Rogue One, but it's the real deal. Like when I first got him, I saw him in the package. I thought it was only 5 POA, and I was really mad. Like, this is a vintage collection. You look on the back, and the vintage collection things on there, and if you look close, you see the knee joints, and then they did a good job of hiding the POA in the figure, and I was like, oh shit. And the big thing was I didn't see the cape, but it's like crushed up back here and stuff. But yeah, I got Darth Vader. Boba Fett should be here tomorrow, I think. And it's like anything else. I say, well, if I can get those 2 figures, the rest is kind of gravy. And for me, it was, you got to have Darth Vader and Boba Fett as far as the whole Bestman thing. I've already got a Lando Calrissian courtesy of Bjorn Jorgensen, and I am focusing on vintage collection Star Wars to go with the Bestman playset that Joe's making. I've got a line on some vehicles from some friends. Like I've been talking to Scott Hughes about some vehicles. I need to revisit that and figure out a game plan because it's not. He's asking a great price. It's bro prices, but I'm still waiting on Action Force to drop because I'm worried as shit about that. That's been the big holdup of where I'm like, well, I'll start throwing money at you. And I really should have just been throwing a few bucks here and a few bucks there at him. And then, Scott, if you are watching after the fact, I haven't forgotten. I'm still down with it. And I want those damn things. I just got to figure it out. Jim Largo says, it irks me they put more love in the Invisible Mild Morales than it did Sue Storm. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all, sir. Appreciate that, Bjorn. And Joe says, if you're going to have TVC video, that's a good one. I didn't know there was a difference. I thought there was just one. So I'm glad to hear that I got the right one. Because I like the look of every TVC Vader I've seen so far as I know. But I was able to get them on Amazon at retail price. I was very happy about it. So I nabbed it. Straight up nabbed it. I got one more thing. But if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen it. Better Ray Bob says, I love some of the vintage collection. If Hasbro would quit making some of them with swivel hips and give them all hips like Young Lando or Bo-Katan, I'd be buying more. It's fair. I haven't researched the line enough, honestly, to know the difference. I'm just like, I need this character. Because the whole thing was, at least from my perspective, with the exception of droids, I knew that the vintage collection was going to be more satisfying for me, you know, given it's a Bespin-centric thing. I know that most of those figures are available, but with droids, I think like there's certain droids you might only be able to get through like a stand solo or something. But I'm not versed enough in it to really make those decisions. I just knew like, well, if I don't have any in the in absence of figures, with the exception of some of the 5 POA ones that have been sent. See, that's how pervasive the 3 POA podcast is, guys. I say 3 POA before I say 5 POA, and it's like, it's rough, but I'll get over it. I'll get through it. It's fine. It's no big deal. It's fine. Rez, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Jesse Hughes says, I sold off more of my limited black series so I wouldn't go down the rabbit hole. Wish I'd start with TVC first. Yeah, I kind of feel like, for lack of a better comparison, right? Because it's not as good, but I feel like Motu Origins is to OG Masters of the Universe as Vintage Collection is to original Kenner Star Wars. It's close. It's not a complete slam dunk, but overall, it's really good. And when you compare the prices that, that figures go for, you might as well go vintage collection because you'll almost always save money on a mint figure. And as an adult collector, I had to have that come to Godzilla moment where it was, do I go vintage with it and try to like recreate something? But then I realized like, well, this all was revolving around a playset that did not fucking exist when I was a kid. I thought, well, given that that's the case, I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm capturing the nostalgia of the the being a kid having toys. But this whole thing is a new thing. So yeah, it's definitely something I had to mull over for a while. Gojatron Carl asks, did I pre-order the new Motu Orta stuff? Of course I did. As soon as it got tweeted out that they're alive, I was like, oh! And I grabbed them all. And by what they are, let me triple check to make sure I haven't missed something else that's new. It was Stridor and a bunch of figures. Stridor, Horde Trooper. I ordered 2 of them. Sunman. Fuck yeah, Sunman. Anti-Eternity He-Man and Clawful. I mean, of course. Of course, I'm going to get those. Absolutely. But thanks for checking on me. I appreciate that. And I also pre-ordered all the 2A stuff from Big Bad Toy Store as well. So if those of you who don't know, those are up for pre-order through Big Bad Toy Store. And it was something where, so here's my philosophy. I will always go to Valveverse first when I can. I have a big FOMO when it comes to fear of missing out when it comes to Action Force, and ordering through Big Bad gives me a lot more flexibility uh, in a place where we just had Christmas, other things are coming up. I have more flexibility to say, okay, I've got some reserve. I can figure this out later, kind of a thing. Where I just don't have the coin to drop the way that I'd like. So I can pre-order very safely a Desert Rat next paycheck, pay up front. And with BBTS, I can kind of go with that. So Mr. Joe DeBecky says, vintage collection's an enjoyable line. It's what got me back in the game. Just don't get sucked into getting everything. Yeah. For most people that come here, by now, I hope they know. And if you don't, I'm making it clear now. I'm only doing a Bespin centric Star Wars collection. Period. Doing the Bespin playset, Bespin world, if you will, that Joe's doing, and Joseph Dickerson, I should say, and vehicles and figures. That's it. The only troop building I'll be doing are stormtroopers and like Bespin guards, that kind of a thing, you know. But otherwise, you get a few key figures and you're good. And that's all I wanted to do. Is have that. It represents my favorite film in the series, my favorite part of that film. Parts, I should say, because all the Bespin stuff is gold, in my opinion. And that's why I'm doing it, because I do not want to get pulled into that shit. It's too much. It's just too much to have. I don't need it. I don't really want it. The only other thing I could foresee myself wanting is if Joe were to pursue like an Emperor's Throne Room playset, like full scale, like the big one, and then you only need 3 fucking figures. You know, Darth Vader, Jedi Luke, and a Darth Vader. That's it. Maybe a couple of them, but that's it. You're not late for anything, Nerd Rage. I just did this out of nowhere, so it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. No worries. Mr. Jim Salzberg, sir. Sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. Better Ray Bob says that Bespin world that Joe is doing looks awesome, assuming it's the same one. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because they're still in the prototype and they're figuring stuff out and everything else. So I'm waiting for that dust to settle, and then I'll be like, all right, how much is this really going to set me back? You know, I need to message him and be like, oh, so you know, make that happen once everything's been iterated on, and then I'll grab the whole thing in pieces, whatever the case may be. And I know that a lot of it's meant to be modular, so you can build it out more. So I have to figure out. I need a landing pad for the Falcon. I need a landing pad for the Slave One. I need a landing pad for the X-Wing. So I need 3 landing pads, and then all the other stuff they've already made, and then kind of a thing. I have to figure it out. Joe is doing it. It's a printed kit that he's doing, but there's pieces you will have to assemble, glue together. So it's like not quite model kit level of putting together, but it's close. And you know what Michael did with retro blasting in his video with that, he wired like the whole freezing chamber thing, the whole floor with like LEDs and stuff like that. And it's going to be hard for me not to do that. So what I would want to do is put like a orange gel around the grills, all of them, and put lights in strategic places in a specific way, so that it's all the whole place is just like, like it'd be a whole thing. It'd be a whole thing. It's good to see you too. So, um, yeah. So if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, you've already seen this. But I want to show it off because it was really, really fucking cool for me. You'd be like, what? But this arrived this week. This is a Bingo Bear. If you're not familiar with Bingo Bear, this was a Teddy Ruxpin competitor. Came out a year after Ruxpin did. And his selling point was that what he said was triggered by a sensor in his mouth. When you actually hit his mouth, it would be a random thing. And it would be very conversational, very creative in nature, because you would have to start having these conversations. So really, I got my first lessons in live entertainment from having this guy. Like, where I would know after a while, you memorize all the phrases he could have. She would have like all these different things that you could like spit back at him. And there were expansion packs like doctors and stuff like that. I had the doctor one, which is weird because he was like, "Oh, you're okay." It was weird, but it's full blown puppet. You put your hand in here, which as an adult hand, not the best fit, to be honest. I'm gonna try. Hey kid, yeah, you. Everyone thinks toys are fun, but this channel's for adults. Yeah, I said it. If you're under the age of 13, get your parents' permission before you come in here. Or wait, if you're under the age of 18, can I do it again? If you're under the age of 13, scram. I could see myself redoing the intro with him. It'd be really cool. I'd have some fun with it. But I used to play with this guy a lot. I was like 9 or 10 when I got this, and I just adored this dude. And it was a lot of fun. It was like having a ventriloquist dummy around. But I love this little guy. Now he doesn't work. Clearly, he does not work. But that's okay. I just wanted one, and after shipping, he was like $20. When it was originally $100 investment to begin with, I believe, like 70, 80, $100, something like that. So to get him for $20 was cool. And I know getting a working one is close to like 200, and I'm not there yet with it, you know. I just want him. So he's been like hiding out in the shelf behind me. I just see him all the time. I love the damn thing. No, I agree. Well, says STLs are if STLs are available, it'd be cost effective to buy the files 3D printer. So yes, it would. However, because of the amount of work that Joe's putting into this, even if I were going to put buying a 3D printer into my budget, I'm going to be honest. I want to pay the guy for all the work he's done, all the time investment and everything. So I understand. I don't know if he's going to release STL files later or not. That's I think it'd be cool if he did it. But at the same token, I don't think that he has to right away. I think that he should bear some fruits of his labor for at least a year. So for those of us that don't have 3D printers, aren't getting one anytime soon, and frankly don't like putting in that kind of effort at this point, I think it is good that he's going to be able to make some profit off of this. I think it's fair. But I feel like files would be great when the time comes. I think he needs a chance to make some money from this. Well, of course, do it alive. Exactly. Well, always like Scrunchy the Bear and the Shop Rat Maxot. Fair enough. Fair enough. And yeah, that's definitely a whole thing. And I think you could do that. I just don't know if it's something that we'll see anytime soon. Literary Bob says, my friend with a 3D printer warned me there's a steep learning curve of 3D printers. Yes and no. But there was a live stream we did on this past Monday with Nerd Rage that should allay some of your concerns. I hope so. I hope so. Bear with me a second. I didn't realize that I would have to pee, but I do. I'll be right back. Y'all try to organize games and shit. Like, look, didn't take that long. I had to pee. It's fine. We're all right. And there you go. Nerd Rage is always here to answer the stray 3D quint. The beer stocking now. Sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I tossed my most special teddy bear from a kid, and I regret it. I regret it. How about that baseball? Hello, fellow kids. That's right. Wilson, 3D printing is much easier than I thought would be. Tons of resources and support. Absolutely. 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 5, sure. There you go. It's really all I had in my plate. I'm just going to hang out with you guys. And I got some reorganization and filming I need to do tomorrow. So I'm going to have to really push to get that done, frankly. But it needs to get done because I haven't produced any videos this year, which is weird to say out loud. Because we're over a weekend. I haven't done anything. Been dealing with burnout and getting back into the swing of things at work and stuff. And Susan's new job is great. She's actually out of town visiting family this weekend. So I've been, frankly, enjoying some me time and hanging out with Bucky, who's over there cleaning her foot, which, that's not weird at all. But it's a whole thing. I have things I need to produce content on, and I have some things I need to get done this weekend. And some of the stuff I need to do that is at the box. I need to go to the box tomorrow and stuff like that. So, because spoilers, many of you know this, some of you may not. The next video is either going to be an 89 Batman figure review or the Crystal Castle. I'm not sure which is coming first. But they're both getting filmed tomorrow if I have anything to say about it. It's just a question of which one I want to edit and release first. And the Princess of Power, Crystal Castle, I have more than just the castle. And I don't think I want to include the rest of the stuff in the video because most of that stuff is going to get flipped. I don't want it, frankly. and it feels kind of, for what I'm doing, it feels very disingenuous to review the figures that came with it when I'm not collecting them. I'm not hanging on to them. I strictly wanted the castle, and I didn't even want a complete castle. I just wanted the castle, and I'm going to try and figure out a way to customize it to where it feels more like something that a warrior woman would use, not this trumped up Barbie shit that they included. There was so much of that crap in that particular playset. So I'm going to talk about that and why it's a good thing to go after, but getting it complete is, for the modern collector, probably pointless, because, like, why in the hell would I ever want a bed for my She-Ra figure? I can't think of a reason. The only things that, like, would make sense are like some of the windows and stuff. That's about it. Everything else is like, oh, look, I've got a comb for my hair. It's like that's not in the spirit of what She-Ra really was. She was a strong motherfucker, and you know took on Hordak. But that's like the idea. She goes home like, I'm gonna brush my hair and I'm gonna get in bed and did it. Like, no, 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 no. I don't think that's fair to the character and what she represents, even in the current zeitgeist. So, no. Tim Hayes is asking if I want to make a Xena castle. No, not really. Just I view She-Ra as a powerful individual that you know has a bigger place in pop culture and the Masters of the Universe lore than the average person is going to give him credit for. And so I'm gonna, like, hopefully I'm gonna touch it up a bit, get it looking nice. But I think I want to put like a darker patina on it so that it's not so pink. But I want to leave it the original colors to a degree, but I want to like soften it a bit. Um and maybe figure out some accessories for the castle that make more sense. Um just do something cool with it, because I'm not in a place where I don't need like complete vintage lines of much of anything outside of superpowers. And even then, Series 3, like, it keeps knocking on my door, but um, it's not a priority. Like, I'm not after like the toy line accurate collection as much as I am like, all right, I've got Castle Grayskull, I've got Crystal Castle, but the Castle Grayskull I have is the Origins one, and I keep looking at Snake Mountains. That I want complete because there's next to nothing for it. But even that, I would want to add some stuff to it, and I'm not really sure what direction it's going to go in. Um, and although I'm not going to put it on the screen for what I hope are obvious reasons, Nerd Rage's joke, top shelf, top keck, good stuff. I like it. It's funny, right up my alley. But I just feel like it's a good snapshot of where the methodology was at Mattel at the time. They really treated that like a trumped up Barbie line, and it's stupid. It didn't lock in with what it should have been, especially relative to the cartoon. Because yeah, it was a more peaceful thing, the She-Ra cartoon, but she still kicked ass when she had to, and a lot of the toy line just completely deviates from that, and it's just dumb. It's dumb. Yeah, I'm on the same boat, Salzburg. I feel like if I can find an insanely good deal, like if I can get it like sub $70, like 60 to 70, 75, not including shipping, that's a good deal. And I know that, at dealer tables and stuff like that, you can come across one for a pretty good price. I would pick it up right away. Now, if this year's, what was PowerCon, because they're rebranding. They're going to be all toys, not just Masters of the Universe anymore. If Mattel does not announce a Snake Mountain this year, I'm probably just going to nab a vintage one to be safe and move forward for sure. Not regardless of price, but my budget will go up a bit, you know. I've looked at the DC Primal Age Batcave and I'm like, the reason I'm not interested in it is because although I have the Savage Land, like the horror icon characters, I have zero interest in the rest of the line. So having the Batcave, I'm like, I don't know. It's pretty expensive for what it is. If I come across a good deal, it's a good thing to get, but good deals on that are not to be had from what I've seen. But I'm interested in it. I appreciate that, Bjorn. I will say that a complete one in a toy shop like your buddies is probably going to fetch $100 to $200. Not the deal I'm looking for. But keep an eye out. You never know. You never know. You never know. I certainly feel like the potential is there. Like Nerd Ridge is bringing up the Fright Zone. Like I want a Fright Zone as well, but I also feel like they're going to make one. I hope so. You have the Batcave. How much mint sealed in box? I don't know. I wasn't looking at mint once. I don't know what it goes for now. To be honest, I have no idea what that would go for. I'll look into it and we can talk for sure. Absolutely. Pre-order Action Force, you sure can. Big Bad Toy Store definitely has them. Clearly, you can get them through Valaverse. There's definitely avenues out there now. Finally, thank goodness. I need to get a Desert Rat this weekend coming up. Needs to happen, so it's done. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Because at first, around Iconicon, it was like, well, I'm getting that one figure, and that's it. I'll get the comic books in the meantime, just because whatever. Read the comic books, fell in love with the characters, and I'm like, shit. Now I have to get these. And, I'm waiting on BBTS like most people are. And I don't mind because it's like, had this hit over Christmas, I'd have been fucked. It would have been horrible for me. So, and yes, the Night Assault Steel Brigade looks amazing. And really, really, really crazy. Are you serious? James was like, I ordered 2 Tonys just in case you're ton on fun. So thank you, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. You was the same way, just without the comic. Oh, you were the same way, but you didn't buy the comic. You were originally just going to get a Desert Rat, and I was like, oh no, I have to get this. The comics are worth it though. Get the comics; they're good comic books. Like legitimately. I pre-ordered one. I would love to have more, but I'm not at a place with Action Force where I feel comfortable troop building at this point. Because frankly, they're expensive figures, and I just want to make sure I get like one of everything, and then go from there, kind of thing. Better Bob says Action Force line looks cool, but I've been a 118 skill guy since childhood with a picture who organized. I get that too. It's something where because I do have a big enthusiasm for superpowers. I am doing vintage collection Star Wars. Those are 3 3/4, 1/18. But I also have Motu Origins, which I'm really focused on. And Marvel Legends was already a thing for me. And it was like, well, it's not going to kill me to have more 6-inch figures. If I had no 6-inch figures, it would be a little weird. But I don't mind. I don't mind it at all. But I certainly see where you're coming from, for sure. I mean, absolutely. It's something where you just have this one corner where like, hey guys, how's it going? And all the 3 3/4 are like, yo, what's up? Like I totally get it. Totally get it. The Repro Eagle Force, I do have a thought on that. I'm avoiding it like the plague because if you know where, like, the etymology of where that came from, like these were like super cheap, um, and they were a knockoff. I will not pay premium prices for Eagle Force ever. These were like $2 Chuck figures. Like, there's no fucking way. It would be cool if Valverse did 1/118 scale. I don't see it happening though. And Salzburg, I'm not putting this on screen for posterity. I know what you're talking about. Not showing it during the stream. I'll be doing a separate video on that. Gotta keep some stuff under wraps, dude. Jim Largo says, I would, if Hasbro would bring back Micronauts and Mask in 1/18 scale, it'd be a hit. I agree. I would love to at least see Mask again. You know, like a 3 3/4 Mask line. Like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Like, even if it's just series 1, just do series 1, the whole bit, like Boulder Hill, the whole thing. Yeah, I'd be in, like Flynn, on that for sure. 100%. They're basically Marauders with different paint deco and shit. Like, it's not the exact same thing, but it's just like, I don't, meh. You want to make some custom 1/18 Action Force? That'd be cool. Will Edwards, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. One of my gaming buddies that crossed over into the toy stuff. This is great. Says, I haven't really dabbled in 1/18 scale and modern collecting NECA, Motu Origins, Marvel Legends go-tos. I'm sorry that NECA is one of your go-tos because they break in the box all the time. But I wish you best of luck with it. But I'm glad to hear you collecting Motu Origins, Marvel Legends as well. Pretty good. Yeah, originally Meagle line. There you go. Bill Wolf, hey, just got here. No worries, man. All you missed was me hugging a teddy bear. Dun, 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 dun. Ian Sweeney says 3.75 scale is for me from nostalgia, but also very limited space, so sizing better selection. I completely understand that too. Whoop, whoop. Progress stalled in the Fallout diorama. Have to wait for a Dow display for some more pieces. I get you on that one. Will says, if time, money, and skill were not a problem for me, be designing and 3D printing 1/18. Dude, I hope you learn that skill set because yes, for sure. Will Ever says, in all my years, NECA, only 2 have broken, 1 in a fall, 1 by my own hand. Fair enough. You probably also take very good care of them and do like the heat treatment and all that. My whole thing with NECA is that I shouldn't have to have like a really insane maintenance regimen just to take them out of the box. That's me. I have 2 NECA figures, and they will probably be my only ones with maybe. Well, I'll be fair. I will probably get 2 more NECA figures in my lifetime. The Pinhead Ultimate and a good Michael Myers, and then that's it. Because I have a Jason Voorhees and a Freddy Krueger. So it's like, well, complete the set, right? But their quality control is such ass, dude. I worry because it's like it's not a cheap figure either. And their entire standpoint on the whole problem with that is like they haven't done anything to correct the problem. So I'm glad you're having a string of good luck. I hope it continues, and I'm glad to hear that. But I'm very hesitant to buy NECA in general because of that. But I get it. Totally get it. Totally. You wouldn't say no to the NECA Christopher Reeve Superman. I would prefer to see Mafex handle that. Honestly, because Mafex, I was so blown away with Mafex the Superman and Batman and Catwoman from Hush. Either them or oh god, I always get these two confused. Mafex or Mafex, and Largo sent me the Spider-Man from this line. Soft goods. What is it? Can't remember. It's the other It's the other M. Granted, you'll pay a lot more money for it, but you'll know where the money. Mezco. Thank you. Frick. Thank you. Mezco. Mezco. Thank you. Yes, Mezco. I think that Mezco or Mafex would be a better fit. Just for the simple fact that, like, not just the aesthetic quality of Mafex's stuff, but the build quality is insane. For what they do, and I can't afford a whole collection of Mafex stuff, but let alone Mezco, crying out loud. But for the odd figure, like, those are really good, like really good. So for something as iconic as a Christopher Reeve Superman, like, yeah, I mean, technically they could take the Hush Superman and just swap the heads, and I'd be okay with it. Granted, there's other differences that exist, but Lou Ferrigno Hulk, it's not a bad get. Wouldn't be a bad get. Well, Mattel would probably put it on Mattel Creations, and we all know how I feel about that. But you're not far off the line there. The Mezco Christopher Reeve was also, they did make one, and the head sculpt wasn't great. All right, so Mezco's off the list. Mafex gets a turn, in my opinion. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man, don't get me started on that. John Wesley Ship Flash. Oh, they did. Oh fuck, they made one. Guys. I was a huge fan of the John Wesley Ship Flash figure. As soon as they released it on DVD, I bought it. Love that series to death. And now I know there's a figure out there and it's expensive, and that makes me sad. Mego just announced that they're going to start releasing figures sold in the old 1970s style long boxes. Yes. Hopefully they reissue some figures as well. But the long boxes are awesome. I hope that we see some cool stuff. I'd be down. I would be down for that. He says Mattel did online along with Keaton, Batman, Linda Carter. Okay, fair enough. See, that's the thing. Like, I know what I know, but I don't know everything. I'm not that guy, and I'll probably never will be. Like, I know a lot about retro gaming. I know a shitload about music and a shitload about movies, but, like, in collecting, I just kind of research what I'm currently focused on. But, like, ancillary, like, offs, like, knowledge like that, like, I don't have it. That's why I rely on you guys, because I'm still a baby in all of this, if you really think about it. You what? Walmart's getting Amigo Toxic Avenger? Take my fucking money. Sorry, I'm talking so fast, I'm swallowing my own air. My bad. Everyone's looking for Amigo Green Arrow Type 2, complete vintage with a not broken backpack. Jim Salzberg is your guy. For sure. Speaking of collecting, how's the Super Mario collection coming? It's at a standstill for now, as I have complete Series 1, complete Series 2, and I haven't touched Series 3 at all yet. If I ever touch it. because the thing is, when I look at the figures I might actually want, and because the thing is, if I want to dip my toes in, I need to get the whole thing. That's the problem. Because I'm either going to completely snub Series 3 or I'm not. And for me to dip into Series 3, I would have to get some seriously good deals on some stuff to justify other stuff. Now, like with a cyborg, I don't think I'll ever be able to justify getting an original cyborg. Just none. Just no reason for it. Plenty of great repros out there, and even those are expensive. I would probably get one of them. But I look at the characters in Series 3, and I just don't care. I just don't care. I was never a fan of most of those characters. The only one I had was Plastic Man, and he's like, whatever. And he is way too expensive for what he is. He's like, oh, look, my neck stretches. Like, who cares? Who cares? So unless I find the right opportunity for Series 3, my Superpowers collection is more or less complete. Now I'm looking at more of like the outside stuff. Like I've been eyeing up the lunch boxes lately. There's a few of the lunch boxes that are out there. Um, any posters I can get my hands on, things like that. Um, but as far as the figures and even the vehicles, like I keep joking about getting a Justice Jogger just for like the lulls. Um, but I can't justify it, dude. Not at this point, anyway. And I know they're not going to be any cheaper next year, right? But it's like I would have to figure it out. And like, for example, like I bought my Hall of Justice off of a particular seller. He and I are friends. He has a bunch of stuff. I need to ask him if he has any Series 3 stuff and figure out if he does, and I can get a bulk deal on what he does have. That would be a good place to start. Something like that. Something collector to collector. If I can get a chunk of them at a decent price for me, then I can justify spending a bit more on other stuff. Um, like Matt Harvey, who's been on the channel before. He has been pining after a Miracle Man complete forever. And every time I go looking, just for the parts that he's looking for, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's such an expensive figure. And again, when I don't have any real connection to the majority of those figures and those characters, I'm like, why? Just so I can say I have it? And to me, that's not in the spirit of collecting that I'm trying to engender. So it's a really hard sell for me. I'm not saying no forever, but it's not something that I get excited about. The only thing that excites me about it is the possibility of having a complete set. And it's really just to shut people up, honestly. Because there are people who are like, well, you got Series 1 and Series 2. It's not complete. You're not a real collector. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, it's a weird flex. It's a weird flex for sure. Yeah. Yeah. The Plastic Man that I had as a kid, his legs were always really loose, like right out of the packaging for the most part. It's pretty crazy. For sure. Yeah. It is super hard. And I wouldn't care. Like, give me a loose one. I'll take repro cuffs and repro cape. No problem. No, I can't find anyone that makes the cuffs. I can't find anyone who makes the cuffs. The cape should be pretty easy. I get like the cape master, like, hey, could you make this? He could probably do it. But the cuffs are hard to come by. Like, because you all know me, I don't care about repro parts at all. Because I'm never selling this stuff once I have it. And I'll keep meticulous documentation of what has repro and what doesn't. Because if someone has to sell it after I shuffle off the mortal coil, I don't want to have them ripping anybody off. So it's a whole thing. It is a whole thing. Well, so the cape's terrible, accessory's not great, but I can't stop buying them. For what I miss. I dove in on a conversation. I'm sorry. Joe DeBecky says, I hear you on superpowers from Secret Wars out of nostalgia. Be damned to pony up hard for the series 2 rarities not in love with. Yeah. When I was first looking at doing superpowers collection stuff back in like June, July, like really seriously starting to get into it, I'd considered simultaneously collecting Secret Wars, and I just can't. They were crappy figures back then. And I just cannot justify like the idea of, well, these were crappy. Why do I want them? And I found out, spoilers, I don't. Like, I would probably want a Spider-Man and maybe an Iron Man and a Doctor Doom. Okay, the Doc Ock. But that's where it's at. It's like, well, if I get 4 figures, well, I should just get the yeah. Screw it. I'm not messing with it. But I understand. I understand where it comes from. It's real pain. Jim Largo asks, has anyone heard anything about the new Batman movie Spin Master Batmobile? I have not. No worries, Nerd Rage. Glad to see you. Look to see you soon. Of course, Jim Salzberg has all the Secret Wars and regrets owning them. Fair. Fair. That was one of the big things. Like, I had a Doc Ock, and that thing just, oh, it was a pain. It looks great out of the box, and then you play with it a little bit, sucks. There you go. We're on the same page. We're on the same page. Probably as usual, I would say, for the most part. Most of the time, we line up pretty good. Had a few as a kid. Don't collect them. Yeah, I had Spider-Man, Captain America, Doc Ock, Doctor Doom, and I had Wolverine and maybe a Magneto. I don't know if I had one or not. That's about all I had. Never had any of the vehicles. Never had the playset. And I'm glad, because those are kind of crappy toys, to be honest with you. Kind of crappy. Kind of crappy. But it's okay. I mean, but for me, it's part of why I collect Marvel Legends is that it fulfills it fills a hole that was in the Secret Wars line. Like, if the Secret Wars line had like a really great line of characters, that was, if it was truly accurate to the Secret War comic, which I love, and had all of those characters, maybe. But it's like a smattering, and the smattering doesn't really make a lot of sense. So it's like, why bother? You had both the claw variants on the Doc Ock, so you were truly sick. I mean, where you know? But it's fine. Like, it's no big deal. I mean, thing is, you could probably put that set up on eBay and get pretty good coin for it. Because the folks that do want that stuff, it's certainly something else. It's just not like most of the people here. Like, well, we know better, right? But maybe there's a kid that had only 2 figures and is like, dude, I would love a complete set. Like, they would just be like, oh, throw it down. And for that person, whoever they might be, power to them. I just, because the thing is with Secret Wars, because they were 5 POA and they weren't really comic accurate at all. The stupid ass shields, like, I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this? I would set them up in a diorama, and that'd be it. And for the amount of money they go for, I can't justify it. If they were ultra cheap, okay, maybe, but they're not. They're really not. It's kind of nuts. Bill Wifta says, figures I had the hardest time getting from Series 3 superpowers with Mr. Miracle and Cyborg. Big bucks on Cyborg, stupid. I bet, man. And it's something where, again, that's the one that makes the most sense to have from that line. Mr. Freeze is a good get, but he's not insane. Especially if you don't mind having like a repro, helmet cover or whatever. But a cyborg. Like, it's nuts. It's fucking crazy. Um, to look at, and yeah, like we were saying with Secret Wars, the characters don't make sense at all. Like they really don't. Um, it's pretty crazy. Ian Sweeney's been looking into currently available 3 3/4 inch scale to 4 inch scale figures and fascinated by the core. Finger over them and we get them on release. I had some of them because again, if you in the US especially, when you walked into a department store like a Kmart or a Best or a Target, if that was in your area, because they weren't always a really nationwide store. Hills, if you're in the northeast rather, any of these, Woolworths, you name it. Each of these had different knockoff lines. Like Eagle Force was a thing, tended to be more in Kmart's as I recall, although you could get them in other places as I recall as well. And the core was kind of like the super generic one you could get everywhere. And one of the big takeaways with um, the core and other similar lines, they had ultra cheap vehicles. They weren't great, but they were vehicles. They were basically plastic shells, and you were like $2, $5, like nothing. And that for me was a big value of the line. I never really wanted to like cross pollinate the figures too much. I was more about getting cheap vehicles. And the lines like Eagle Force and the Core and even further generic stuff from these stores really helped fill out the lines for like G.I. Joe and stuff. Certainly had some stuff from all of that stuff. There was one, if someone can tell me, because there was one particular line that I really fell in love with, and I had a vehicle from it, and I cannot remember what I had, but they had like 2 or 3 vehicles. I want to think it was a helicopter. But this line was 3 3/4 scale. It worked with GI Joe, but they had their own figures, and everything was blue. Everything was blue, and like blue with like red accents. And it was totally generic. This weird thing, and I loved them. Loved them. But I only had like just a handful of stuff, and I wanted to look them up recently, and I don't even know what to look up. So if anyone knows what I'm talking about, let me know in the chat because it's pretty good. And I know it's not the core, it's not Eagle Force. There was a name. They had like 2 or 3 vehicles. One was a ground vehicle, one was like a helicopter or a jet kind of a thing, and they had like a smattering of figures, not a lot. When you find them, the Secret Wars going up, or it's a little Doom Tower. Nice. So poor boy, I'll tell you where I came from. Marvel was the big. There you go. There you go. I see a bunch of crosstalk with that. With Bill Wifta says Toy Biz Marvel figures pretty cool, almost like superpowers, much better than Secret Wars. Yeah. Having come off of superpowers and seeing the Toy Biz stuff, I was very not impressed. I had a handful of Toy Biz figures, and I was like, they were the only game in town. You know what I mean? Um, so on one hand, I got some stuff, and I started going, "These are not as good as they should be." Like even then, I was like, "Come on, man!" Like at that point, it was the '90s. It's like these could be better, and they weren't. Yeah, the retro 5 POA stuff. I've looked at those, and it was basically a decision: do I go with that, or do I go with Marvel Legends? And for me, it was like, well, Marvel Legends stuff is way better for me, so I went with it. It was a hard thing to decide, um, but I'm okay with it. Like I don't regret that decision. But I agree; those are very cool, very cool. Uh, all the fourth world superpowers, like you're talking about, like the other country exclusives and stuff. It's kind of weird, but I like it. Like the Riddler, like oh, I love that Riddler, but that's expensive. Um, Gotron says I have a bunch of the modern core figures and vehicles, solid toys, ridiculously inexpensive. Fact. Alien line that Cantor did was pretty cool. I'm guessing maybe Predator line as well. There's the Aliens versus Predator line that is in the same scale, but not directly related, from what I understand. Certainly interesting stuff. Bum, 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 bum. No, you didn't miss anything, Ben. But welcome to the stream. This was not scheduled. It was like, I want to do this. Click, click, boom. It was it. So don't worry. You didn't. There's not like a crazy discussion going on here. We're just hanging out and having fun. Just hanging out and having fun. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, hey, 16-bit Pete, what's up? What's up? I'm having a beer, hanging out with my friends. Good to see you. 16-bit Pete, y'all. Hmm. Looking. I get you. Okay. Yes, the Orion figure is very weird. Looks nothing like his character in the comic. It's just like the lore, as I recall it, goes that Kirby felt screwed by certain royalties and ownership of characters that he made for DC. And Kenner was like, yo, why don't you redesign this character and we'll give you a bigger cut of the royalties for this figure? That's the way I remember it from what I've read. That was my understanding of it. That he was, trying to, like, Kenner was reaching out to him to try and be like, hey, we know we're aping a lot of your stuff. We want to help you out, kind of thing. But nothing on those blue vehicles. Like, I know as soon as I see it, I'd know it. So I should probably just do searches for like GI Joe knockoffs, and I'd probably find something. But the problem is that those were such an obscure little thing. That coming across stuff like that is going to be hard, I think. But that's okay. It's par for the course. Salt for the goose. Jim Largo brought something up to me, I think it was yesterday, Jim, where apparently G.I. Joe Classified's overstock is showing up in discount stores, like your Five and Below and so forth, for like $7 a pop. And I'm like, ooh, I want to look into this because I wouldn't mind picking up a few figures at that price, like, good customization fodder and stuff like that. Be interesting. I'm looking into it. So if you haven't heard about this, that's something that's going on. Apparently, that there is some GI Joe classified stock making its way into some discount stores in America. So that is an entire mood. Yeah, a U.S. store might be a touch far from Yorkshire. Pretty sure, Ian. Pretty sure. Well, I don't think that's it, but we'll look. Let's take a look. Laser Force Boy. No, but thank you for bringing those up because those are great. I remember these for sure. So I can pull this up for everybody. Tab. Open that. Close. Yeah, we'll see if we can bring us up on screen here for you guys. Bum, 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 bum. Here we go. There you go. That's a laser force for you. I saw these in Kmart's all the time, and I think a black one. I don't know if they made a black one, but these were really cool. I really liked these quite a bit, actually. I definitely had these. At least the plane at some point I got, but not necessarily the land thing. I'm almost certain I got them. Loved them to death. But those are the kind of things I'm talking about, where they're super, super cheap. But this blue thing I'm talking about was like same price tier as a like a GI Joe vehicle, but it's just something totally separate. So let me see, GI Joe knockoffs. Let's say 1985. See what I can find here on the old source. Because I haven't really looked. Let's put the word blue vehicle. See what I can find. 'Cause I'm on the hunt, guys. I'm on the prowl. Yeah, most of the stuff's coming up as GI Joe stuff, actual GI Joe stuff, which is cool. Don't knock off. That ain't it, is it? No. Oh, that's newer. But they were like a dark blue. They were a dark blue. And it wasn't a big toy company doing it. It was like some really off the wall stuff. Um, well, I guess I could just share what I'm looking at here. Um, like you see this color here in the adder, that kind of color scheme, but for the whole line. And the whole line was not very much. Uh, do this right. Looking at like vintage stuff, and I'm just trying to find. I saw them at KB Toys a lot. No, can't find it. I believe the figures were O-ring. Yeah, I'm 90% sure of that, but I can't say with any certainty because again, I had very few of these toys, and I remember specifically this would have been Halloween 1985. I went to the mall with a friend and her parents, and um, we walked by a KB, and I saw a vehicle from that line that I've been looking for, and I was like, oh. And I had the money to get it. That's the shit of it. I had the money to get it. But they were like, well, if you're going to get that, we're not going to walk around the whole mall with that toy. Kind of like they were being pretty strict about it, which I get. But I didn't get to get it and whatever. Timey toy? Let's look it up. See if that's right. No, this ain't it. I like where you're going. Like they're not like these aren't that cheap. Like they had like play features and stuff. And I'm sorry to like be like going through and be like, nope, that's not it. Because just to show you guys what he's talking about, um, these are timey toys. These are cool, and these are among the things I'm talking about, but not the specific ones. Like I knew a lot of people that had a tank like this in their collection. There's some cool stuff that's out there for sure. And maybe he's not. Bjorn says, I think I know what you're talking about. My uncle had a few of those colored vehicles handed down to me and my brother. There you go. We're getting somewhere with it. There's definitely stuff out there. That does cheers. Jumped into the live stream with Nerd Rage about 3D printing. Mentioned the iPhone LiDAR thing, but then checked it out. Bet that's a nowhere near ready for what we need one day, maybe. Fair enough. Fair enough. No worries. Like I'd rather, good things come out of it. Let me see. Let's look up KB KB exclusive toys. Because even if I can get a picture of like the front of a KB toy store that might have something in it, you know what I mean? Because really, that's where I used to always see them. I don't think they're exclusive there, but certainly a possibility. You know what I mean? And there's so much history to go through. You know. What's this? No, that's way after. Exclusive military. Chap May? That doesn't ring any bells at all. So I'm gonna go with no, but it's worth a try. We could take a look at it for sure. Um, what's this? Yeah, none of them. Yeah, it was even better than like stuff like this. Like these were like pretty well made for what they were. Um, man, it sucks to try to. So what it was, World Meta Cardboard was these GI Joe scaled vehicles specifically. They had some figures, but they were mainly vehicle focused. Like they knew they were selling knockoff stuff, but they were like a dark blue, like the lower half of this kind of blue. Like with the way the lighting is, how it gets darker, like that with like some red highlights. They had a ground vehicle and a an air vehicle of some kind. And let's look up Chat May. Let's look up Chat May because again, maybe I just didn't pay attention. Chat May. No, this is on par, but it is not these. It is not these. Uh, cool stuff, but not what we're talking about. These are nice. No, the color scheme's wrong for sure. Some cool stuff, but not it. It's hard to like even the artwork that they had on the box rivaled GI Joe. Soldier Force? Let's look. Maybe it is. I don't think because again, the stuff that I remember was in an enclosed box. Like there was no window or anything. Like they were in the box. I remember that specifically, and the artwork certainly caught my eye. Um, again, cool stuff. Um, but this ain't it. I'm sorry to like saddle you guys with this now because I feel really bad. I feel bad. Um, yeah, this would have been like circa 80, 85, 86 is what I remember it being the thing. Um, mm, mm. But you can see why I've been racking my brain because like all the basic stuff, it just doesn't like these are recent as well. These are cool, but it and maybe it's good that I don't know what they are because I'd probably go after them and they wouldn't be very cheap because if in a room full of toy collectors, right? A room full of toy collectors that get like this, we're like, and we can't figure out what it's called. That means it's going to be pretty damned rare. And maybe my memory is just totally kaputski. Maybe I got it wrong. But I know that if I saw it, I'd recognize it and would probably lose my shit. Like I feel like going to Joe Fest, I might find something like that, but I might have a breakdown right on the show floor if I found those. Because those are like I don't know why, but I really loved what I had from that line, and that ground vehicle in particular was the one that got away. American Defense. Let's look. American Defense toys. Let's see. I don't think so, but these are really cool. So you see here, we've got the um, whoop, we've got the like the vehicles they show on the back. Those are definitely not. But I remember these too. These were cool. Um, again, it's that dark blue vibe. Um, Remco military. Huh. Again, that ain't it, but that's cool. Let's look. Let's look at Remco American. We're getting closer. Like this is more like we're getting close. Like this is more in line with what I'm talking about. Again, they got to be dark blue. I don't know why that sticks out in my head so much. Like I remember seeing these. These were cool. I don't think I had much, if any, of them, but I remember thinking like they were always cool for the price and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Again, I feel awful like throwing this on to you guys now. Holy shit! I had that ninja. I had that. I loved him to death. He was one of those like you can get one toy deals. Like we're at a drugstore or something, and I got that guy. I don't think he's from the same line, but that motherfucker, I loved that ninja. Okay, I'm glad I'm not. He says, definitely remember a dark blue vehicle like that. Thank you. X Troop. X Troop. Let's look at X Troop. But y'all, that ninja, y'all ever see that ever loose? Get at your boy. I want one of them. I definitely want one of them. What do you say? X Troop. Let's see. Mm, like here's some A team stuff, which I guess the Extreme Troop up was an offshoot of that. Like I remember seeing these like in the. Well, let's look. Let's look. This whole article is on top 5 GI Joe knockoffs. Let's look at this. What does it say? X Troop, A Team, American Defense, Bronze Bombers. Hmm. Well, let's look at Bronze Bombers. Okay. So we got this going. Yojo. Okay. Extreme Troop, legs, Korean. Um. You know what? Let's look at the core. Let's look at Bronze Bombers. Um. Transformers, Titanium. No, that has potential. Armored Car Commando. That could be it. No, that ain't it. No, not Commando Force. Again, we're getting closer with this stuff, but that ain't it. Core. Yeah, thanks for showing everything. Special force? What's this? Nope. There's gotta be something. Those are full blown. X Super knockoff of Fun School. Okay, I got you. What's SP forces? No. Huh. No. Crazy. Action hero? No, I don't think anyone said that. Action heroes toys. Yeah, that's last action hero. Not seeing anything here. And granted, it's a pretty generic thing. Hmm. Vehicles. No. None of this. Crap. See, I again did not mean for this to go down that road, guys. Really didn't. But I appreciate all the help. Like now we have a community journey to go on, right? Right? Right, guys? But I can see it in my head. Like I can see the overall color scheme. I know what the vehicle felt like in my hand. Couldn't tell you what it actually was. No, I don't think it's adventure people. We'll look at it. Adventure people. Because I know what uh no. I believe I had this at one point or another, or would look at it a lot, but that isn't it. So like the whole aesthetic for the box, everything was darker. So like blues, blacks, but the actual vehicle is even darker than that. Um shit. I don't know if it was a helicopter or what. The land vehicle was like a beefed up um oh what the hell? Like a beefed up vamp, like a bigger, beefier vamp kind of a thing. Um, Ben Ray Bob says it's like that side quest in an MMORPG that's supposed to be short but isn't. Fact. That's really accurate and on brand for sure. And I love what Roll Made a Cardboard's saying. I gotta wait for it to populate in StreamYard, but 100% right. Says someone will think of it at 3 in the morning, wake up screaming out, "Oh yeah, that's what it was." I hope so, man. Like dude, ah, so frustrating. So frustrating. Man, try E? E what? Impact? No. Unless you spelled it wrong, or I spelled it wrong, or something. Hmm. I wonder what that goes for. Probably a lot. Impact helicopter. Okay. Helicopter. No, it's not it either. But I like where you're going. because it's a yeah, that ain't it. Like, even if it were a repaint, I would recognize it. That ain't it though. We're getting closer. We're getting closer, chat. We're getting closer. I'm gonna piss again. I don't really have to, but I'm gonna. I need to take my brain off of this for 8 seconds. I'll be right back. Be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. So Newcastle is saying Navy attack Huey helicopter. Let's try it. Let's try it. Navy attack Huey helicopter. Toy, I suppose I should say. Toy. The Fisher Price. I know this wasn't a Fisher Price, though. It's cool, but that ain't it. I see where you're going with it, for sure. Blue Thunder was great too. World Made Cardboard. I had that as a kid. So I had one. We bought it off the shelf at a Revco drugstore the year it came out, right? And I had it for years. I loved the damn thing. And then when I got into Ninja Turtles, getting some of the vehicles was problematic where we were at. By the time I had my own money, a lot of them were falling off of shelves. And my dad was like, well, we can't find the blimp, but I have an idea. I'm like, what's that, Pop? So he takes the Blue Thunder, takes the canopy off, and said, what if I fashion a wing underneath the skids? And we saw out the middle of the cockpit, take the blades off, and now you've got like we started to build up the Blue Thunder into being the bottom of the blimp. And it was cool. It was really cool. But, so yeah, I had a Blue Thunder, kept it perfect, and then we mutilated it. So, yeah, and I'm kind of like, man, like that's not a cheap toy. It's not a cheap toy. Newcastle, it wasn't it, but I appreciate you, man. I really do. I really do. Ben Sutley says, just before Toys R Us closed UK in 2018, second line called True Heroes. Some of those are really old, close to. Okay. True Heroes. All right. True Heroes. True Heroes. Vehicle, just to kind of see what we got here. It's pretty cool stuff, though. Let's see. No, it's cool. This ain't it. Like you can get this on Amazon now, which is nice. It's cool to know that it's there, but it could have been Ertl. Definitely could have been Corper Toys. Okay, hang on. We'll go these in order. Corper Toys Military. These are again amazing. Didn't even know these existed. This is cool. This is cool. These are really cool, actually. Look at that guy. That's freaking nice. You know what? I want to see. I want to see how much that goes for. Is that scale? Is that 3 3/4 inch scale? It looks like it is. That's freaking great. But no, that's not it. I don't think it's Tonka, Jim, but we'll look. This was definitely a knockoff thing. SWAT helicopter. No, because again, as an open box, these were encased in a solid box. Again, very cool. Not it. And I don't want you guys breaking pencils and screens over there. Like I know. I think Chatmay's manufacturer Final Faction. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Chatmay was the manufacturer for Final Faction for Dollar Tree for sure. It's okay. You can shout all you want. This is your family. You can shout whatever you want. It could have been Ertl though. We'll just look up Ertl military place. So that sounds familiar. Roll me a cardboard. Violent Freedom Force. This might be it. Holy shit, this might be it. This might be it. Fuck! This is it! You found it, you motherfucker! You found it! That's it! That's it! You found it, dude. I had this. I had this fucking copter. Yes! Yes! This is it! And I love this because it was motorized and there was like lights on it and stuff, and the thing twisted a certain way. And I love the utility of the the bivouac and had the gun on the side, and I loved them. I loved everything about this. Literally everything. Like it was my favorite. And I saw this toy on the shelf as a kid. This was the one I was talking about. $85 in the box, huh? Huh. That's great. Freedom Force. That's it. That's it. Holy shit, this is great. This is like you just roll bit of cardboard just unlocked my fucking brain, dude. Like this is so fucking cool. Like this. That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much. That helicopter, dude. I fucking love the helicopter. See if I can get a bigger picture of this. Yeah, this is exactly because in the picture you always had this that little guy down there. And I'm pretty sure this is all they sold was the helicopter and that ground vehicle. And I was like, well, I could get both of these. These are perfect for G.I. Joe and stuff. Yeah. I'm bookmarking this right the F now. Just so I can start looking it up, because now I got to have one of those. I have to have one of these intact. I have to. Especially after I made you guys, do what we just did for the last hour. But yeah, Freedom Force. That's it. It's exactly what it is. So holy shit, thank you, man. That's great. Wow. Like I'm not choked up, but I easily could be. It's that's cool. Buy it now for $85. Well, it's week before payday, so I can't afford it. But next week I'll start looking. But it's like I loved that damn thing so much. Like that helicopter. Like if those of you who never experienced it, like it was. There were so many play features relative to the cost. It was really cool inside of like your GI Joe thing. If I got one now, I probably wouldn't mess with all the decals and stuff. But Freedom Force the American way, it says on the box. Okay, let's look. Freedom Force the American way. Images. Let's go with this. Oh wow, look at this. This is great. Yeah, like they really did a good job of like selling you on this. Really cool. That's pretty boss. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw in the helicopter and see what comes up. I know y'all are already looking at it. I'm just curious now. Yep, there it is. It's an incomplete one, but that's really cool that they did that. Jeez. Broken Blue Thunder pilot fetching that kind of money is insane. But yeah, I had one of these. Like I said, I adored this thing. Just loved it so. Oh, that's not Inception at all. Whoa, no shit. All right. And Goji like straight up says, everyone's got some obscure knockoff toy from the childhood they loved. For me, it was Spider-Man Mobile Crime Lab. There you go. There you go. It's pretty crazy stuff. Ben Sutley asks, can I ask you, obvious toy legends historians, meaning chat, been on a search since '82 in the UK for a race set. Tiny little shuttles and tubes powered by compressed air. I seem to remember that. Yeah, I got really big there. I seem to remember something like that, where it was a whole thing where you had like jets and planes that were on like a. Now, that's different from Air Raiders, which I adored as well. It's a toy line I'm going to be getting into. Like once I settle certain things, when Action Force is done, and I settle up some other outstanding toy orders and things like that. Air Raiders is where, really, get off the sink, cat. Come on, honey, Bucky. I'll come over there. I'm not above coming over there. And she's not listening. She doesn't acknowledge me at all. Probably because I've been talking not to her for the last almost 2 hours, which didn't see that coming. I was expecting a 45 minutes, like, hey, what's going on? But no. All right. Get. Atta girl. Good girl. She's like, but I want to be in the sink. Well, you can't be in the damn sink. Oh, Newcastle. Yeah, same here. I loved Sky Commanders to death, dude. And I had a video. I mean, Bucky doesn't appear. She okay. You can't hold her. Not even her mother, Suze, can hold her. She does not do that. Like if she walks up to you, like you're good, but the whole thing. I don't think it would work for her, to be honest. Not for her. Like I've had cats where water pistols work, but I don't think it would work for her. Plus, then I got to clean up the water. I would love though to show her off. She just doesn't work that way. Sorry. One of these nights when I come in for a hangout like this, I'll have my toy cam set up so I can just go whoop, and there she is, kind of thing. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, and Newcastle, I noticed that when I was coming into the YouTube game, and it's something that I'm interested in doing. And it's not like the toys are that they're not that hard to get, but the problem is if I had them, the way I would want to display them is with their cables deployed and everything. And that's a really that's an ambitious display to try and pull off. Otherwise, you just got them sitting there just going, look at me, I'm sitting here ready to go. And that's why I haven't looked into them because I had a lot of those. I always remembered how the one ship they had that had these deploying, like it would land, it would clamp onto your table, and then the wings would deploy out into like a fortress, like shield walls, and uh, the cockpit would like go down a thing. That plane always reminded me of the jet spaceship towards the end of Flash Gordon. If you think about it, they looked really similar, and it was cool. Like I loved that line so much. Like I really like that line. And I wouldn't be opposed to having them, but it's just one of those things where it's like the amount of money it would take to get the complete line, even though they were part of that big Southern American find a couple years ago. They're the kind of toy line that just sits there if you're not actively playing with them, and it'd be difficult for me to justify something like that. But I had a lot of them. I had a ton of them. I had I had a lot of the heroes, but I really dug the villains from the Sky Commanders line. Like the Jackal, as I recall. Let me look up Sky Commanders real quick. Show you guys what we're talking about. So this is definitely I had one of these. I love that track. It worked really, really well. It's very reliable. I had most of these that we're seeing here. Had the rollerball, Cable Raider. Definitely, it was one of my first ones, as I recall. The Geyser Attack was a big favorite. Like I just liked the way that figure looked and how reliable. Like some of the toys were more reliable working than others, and this was one of the more reliable ones. The Ascender was cool. I loved it because it had a grappling hook on it, in essence, which was really neat. Oh, we just look at that. I remember this fin piece always getting like fouled up in the cables and stuff. I always look at that. Yeah, this is the other battle track protector, which I had. Very, very cool piece. Only problem I have with them is you see these clamps up here. All right. See if I can get this image open in a new tab. It's any bigger. Yeah, it's a little bigger. But these clamps here, what they had for they weren't adjustable. And so you had to have just the right shelf height. So they were kind of difficult to deploy. I don't think I had the Outrider. But it was one of those ones I always looked at. You have Vector Command. I know I did not have Vector Command. Vector Command was like one of the ones was like, oh, I want that. It was just so involved and cool. Definitely had a Deception Raider with General Plague. Loved it. Basically just a glider. Really cool. What else do we have here? See what I can find here. So I gotta find that ship. I want with the wings on. Here it is. Rapid deployment. Boom. There it is. Loved that thing to death. For sure. Very cool stuff. Yes. In short, yes. The helicopters what I had as a kid definitely would be top shelf of all those. Jim Salzberg says this has been one of the best toy chats I've had in years. My bro and I used to do this for hours. That's awesome, man. And it's not something we've done a lot ourselves. Maybe we should do more of it. It was just one of those things where it just kind of came up, like it just sparks in your head. Very cool stuff. Had a few of the Sky Commander, the smaller ones. Yeah, it would totally get tangled up all the time. You had to be really careful. Yeah, I remember Bone Age as well, ever so slightly. Look them up. Bone Age toys. Oh yeah, I remember these now. Shit, this is cool. Like I didn't understand like why this would ever be a viable thing. Um, I remember all of these, but it was like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you making these toys? Like, what is what? It's so weird. Um, Newcastle says you've just discussed more about Sky Commanders than any video on YouTube. I disagree because I have discussed them in a video. They weren't specifically about Sky Commanders, but it's in the toys I'm not collecting yet video. And granted, I probably talked about them less. I didn't show a lot of pictures and stuff. But Sky Commanders are definitely Sky Commanders and Air Raiders both are lines that I really, really dug as a kid and wouldn't be opposed to collecting, but it's a hard sell because they kind of sit there. Like what's that one? Not Lords of Power, but it's something else. Power Lords, where you had the flippy, like Goji mentioned one of them in the Final Faction video. I had like 2 or 3 of those. I never understood what the hell was going on with those toys, but I thought they were neat. And I think a lot of what World Meta Cardboard's talking about is that there were a lot of toys they just wanted to try and get you with the wow factor. They didn't care about lore. They didn't always care about scale. They just wanted you to buy one or two. Some really interesting stuff. Would which scale with Exo Squad? The Freedom Force stuff or something else? Romero Corporate says I had several Air Raiders figure packs and built my own toys. Yeah, the original Air Raiders vehicles were really cool, and even looking back, they were ridiculously inexpensive for what they were, and they're still, knock on wood, relatively inexpensive. You can get like on card figure packs for like 10-20 bucks, which isn't bad. Uh they're in basically the same scale as the mask figures. So Exo Squad, I don't know because I think Exo Squad was a little bit smaller. I'm not 100% on that, and I honestly don't know. Um, might be best just to get like a loose Sky Commanders figure off eBay because usually you can get those for about $10. They're not super crazy expensive. Just to get the figure, like you might even pay less than that and see because I honestly don't know. I'm not familiar enough with Exo Squad to know for sure, but my brain says Exo Squad was slightly smaller. Yes. Newcastle saying the mad scientist toys had a lab of skeletons you'd cover with a Play-Doh and then shit would go through a tank. Yes. Yes, I remember those. I briefly wanted like the lab set. Like the first one they did was like almost a Frankenstein kind of a vibe. But mom wisely said no. She's like, it's too messy. You'd get it everywhere. And she wasn't wrong. So I never got those. But I remember them. Better Ray Bob says Exo Squad were bigger than Mask. Exo Squad's around 1/24 scale. There you go. And Sky Commanders were slightly bigger than Mask too. Now that I think about it, like where Mask were like this big ish. Sky Commanders were closer to this, like about 4 inch. I want to say, based on memory, anyway. But it's a whole thing. And Bjorn, I see you. All good. All good. Yes, Jim Salzberg, the Terminator T100 skin playset. Definitely something that was. I looked at it, was like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Um, but I didn't get into it. Like I remember, like someone like for a birthday or something bought me because people kept trying to get me into collecting toys, and they weren't toy collectors themselves. I'm not sure where that came from, but I had like the Terminatrix and you know the Terminator from T3, and I just hung on to them for years in the package. Didn't care. And one day I was cleaning out a storage room. And I found them. I was like, I'll sell them. I made a few bucks. It wasn't like crazy or anything. I don't regret selling them, but there were some cool Terminator toys that came out over the years for sure. World Meta Cardboard tonight. One Exo Squad figure is pretty close in scale to Mask, Sky Commanders, and Bone Age. Scale never bothered you much. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there for sure. And like they got me like a Halo 2 figure, but he had the shotgun because that was my main on Halo. There were certain maps in Halo 2 especially where you could run in, grab the shotgun right away, and just start just taking people out like crazy. Or go up to like the top. I think it's called the Gemini map, I want to say. And there's a sword up at the top. You grab that. Well, you're essentially like winning that match. So they got me that figure, and the card back was in horrible shape, like the staple holding together the hook and stuff. And never took him out of the package. Sold him off for like a few bucks. And now I've been looking at a Master Chief figure that has a shotgun. And they're not in ready supply. Like they don't have the original shotgun, like the pump action shotgun with that character is hard to come by. Um, it's not a huge priority, but for like a few hours on a Friday night, it was like, oh, I'm looking. Um, so it's weird. Like there are lines that I collect, and there's like I want that character in a specific scale with a specific thing, and I'm good. And then those are few and far between, kind of a thing. But definitely interesting stuff to say the least. Um, fun stuff. Fun stuff. Yeah, definitely not actual Halo system jumpers. I got into that. So, all right, if you want to get some weird, interesting grindhead backstory, I'll tell this story and I think I'll be done. Um, Halo came out first for the Mac, and then they retooled it for the original Xbox. It was a launch title for the Xbox, and we didn't have one. My then second wife to be, and we went to Target and did a wedding registry for the wedding, and we put an Xbox and 2 Xbox games on there and an extra controller, thinking this is pie in the sky. No one's going to do it. Sure enough, the maid of honor took it upon herself to get us the Xbox, Halo, and Ninja Gaiden, and an extra controller. Who might the maid of honor at my second wedding have been? My current partner, Suze. She was the one that got me an Xbox, my first Halo game. That's weird facts. That's how long I've known her. Like, well, she was there when I got married to my second wife, and she got us that gift. So it's kind of interesting how things kind of work out over time. So little known grindhead HQ factoid for you. She typically has pretty good choice in games. There's a lot of stuff she plays. I'm like, if you like it, that's cool. I'm way pickier, but she's also very picky, but in a different way. In a different way. But guys, we've been live over 2 hours, which is not at all what I expected to do tonight. But it was amazing fun, and we got to have a little treasure hunt as a group. It was amazing fun. That's one of the coolest experiences I've probably ever had in content creation of any kind. So I thank each and every one of you for that. And it was World Made of Cardboard that gave us the final answer. Am I right or am I wrong? Let me go back up here. I gotta double check that. Bum, 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 bum. Hang on. I gotta find it. Yeah, it was World Made of Cardboard. Cool. So World Made of Cardboard is our MVP for tonight. For sure. Because it was like I'm just it's awesome. I owe you all the beers when we meet, and someday I'm sure it'll happen. So but thank all of you for your enthusiasm and your participation with that, because that was so cool. And normally I don't leave the Hangouts live. But I feel like this is a journey that people should be able to go on the replay. So we're going to do that. We're going to leave it there. So thank you guys so much. I will be getting back to work very shortly to provide actual produced content for you. Certainly, I'll be going live Monday. I have no fucking idea what I'm going to talk about. We'll get there. I'll figure it out. But for those of you, wherever you are, love you. Be safe. Be fruitful. Multiply. We'll know how to do that. But just have a great weekend. I love you guys. I am out of here. Thank you so much for being here and your time. I love you so much. Cheers.